So I discussed earlier that we have fractional action costs. So an action can appear in the plan 0.1 times. In general, it doesn't cause too many problems. But when we're looking for helpful actions, it does cause us problems. So again, helpful actions, just the same as FF, they're actions that appear in the first layer of the relaxed plan. So here we had load at store, produce. So we did have to produce, which is good. But suppose instead of doing, suppose we have a mine coal action. It doesn't have any preconditions. You can mine coal at any location you like. Assume everywhere's got coal. Then the LP may equally choose to do 10 0.1 mine coal actions at loads of different locations instead of one mine coal action at one location. You've told it to minimise the number of actions. Well, actually, the sum of the action variables, the sum of 10.1s is the same as the sum of 1, so it's no different to it. So this causes a problem. We have 10 helpful actions now. We have mine coal at A, mine coal at B, mine coal at C, and that's blowing up our search space a lot. So we really want to deal with that. So here we're going to take the complexity hit. We're going to say only for actions that appear in the first layer of the relaxed planning graph for this state, these must be integer values. Now this gives us a mixed integer linear program to solve instead of a linear program. So it's a harder problem to solve, and we're minimizing the impact by only doing this for helpful actions. Well, actions that could potentially be helpful actions, those that appear in the first layer. The rest are still non-integer values, and they can take 0.1 value. But if it's going to be a helpful action, we're going to insist it's got a integer value. This has disadvantages clearly. Mixed integer linear programs are more expensive to solve than LPs, and that obviously causes us a problem. But in practice, again, it's a worthwhile trade-off. Again, we have relatively small problems, so we can get away with it. But it has a huge advantage. Any actions that are potentially helpful actions are now whole integers. So we're not going to get this 10 times 0.1 coal mine actions. The way to minimise the number of actions is to pick one mine coal action, because that's in the first layer of the planning graph. It's got no preconditions. And if we apply 2, then we've got to apply 2 whole ones, which is bad. So this sorts out our helpful action, and it saves us a lot of needless search here, which more than compensates for this disadvantage of having a mixed integer linear program. Another little technical detail. I said we couldn't handle assignment effects before. So they're not linear. It's not linear to say assign a value to 10 and then later on assign it to 10 again. But we're looking at settler's domain, which has it has potential vehicles, and when you create a vehicle, it assigns the capacity of that vehicle to a value, and it only ever does that once. Once a vehicle's been made, you can't make a vehicle again, and so because this assignment is only ever made once, we could say it was a linear effect. V equals V plus K, and initialize V to 0. And as long as we only allow that action to be applied once, so that's quite easy in the LP, we just say the value of the action variable is less than or equal to 1, then we can assume it was a producer effect, V equals V plus K, that can only happen once. So that means we can handle assignment effects that are only ever applicable once, which is quite useful because it allows us to capture this creating of new vehicles and assigning them some capacity. So now we're on to sort of the kind of results section. This is a domain about market trading. So there's a man on a camel, and he can travel between markets. And these are the buying price and the selling price of various commodities. So you can buy tea at this price, you can sell it at this price. And so here, say, you can buy silk for £12. So you can make a profit by buying silk here for £12, riding along to here and selling it for £17. Sorry, £15. This is the selling price. So you can make a profit by picking up various commodities, moving around, which costs. So your camel eats 1 currency unit of food every time you move between locations. And obviously you can put distances on this. So if this is 4 distance units, then it consumes 4 units of currency worth of food. And the idea is to make a big profit. So you start off with £5 and your goal is to have £1,000 or whatever. So what does FF do with this problem? FF metric. Well, it starts with £20. It buys tea for £5 and then it sells it back for £3. It then sells the same tea again for £3 because it's not lost the fact that it's got the tea. It can sell the tea and have it. So it does that, and then it sells the same tea again for £3, and it thinks it's making a humongous profit, but actually it will make a big loss because all it can do is buy tea for £5 and sell it for £3, and it tries to sell it again, it hasn't got it. So it's not very good as a financial management system. But what happens in LPRPG is because we have this constraint that captures resource transfer, it realizes that it can't buy the tea and then sell it again. It knows that once it's sold the tea, it's not got it anymore. So, as you can see, LPRPG can solve these instances of a market trader problem, and it solves them quite well. And we fed this to other different planners. So these were metric planners around at the time. Metric FF can't solve any of them. It tries to do this selling thing, gets lost. Buy, sell, sell, gets lost, and its heuristic is offering it no guidance whatsoever. Obviously, all these other planners are based on the metric FF heuristic as well, so they're suffering the same problem in heuristic guidance. So even a very simple problem that we could build caused big problems for all existing planners, but this solution works well on it.